irritated. It took me 19 minutes to get this bloody internet working. I don't know what is going on. Finally got it to work. I had to put in a manual IP address, etc., to get this thing working. But okay, thanks a lot, everybody, for waiting and being patient with us. We are back here with another daily show. So this is the show where we chat about your questions. You can ask us questions in the live chat, and we will answer it as best to our ability. That's what the show is about. It's a Q&A session. So I'm just going to sit back and dedicate some time to you guys, answering your questions as best as I can. Um, and yeah, we can get into this video. But you know what you have to do. Please subscribe to this channel. Please click that notification bell for all future videos as well. There is a little bell that we made for you right there. So just click on that, and also smash the like button and comment and subscribe and share and do all of those amazing things. But I'd like you to also download the latest issue of Cricket Fanatics Magazine monthly. Every issue is 100% free, straight to your inbox every single month. And you can get it by just clicking the link on the screen or in the description. But also, it's the time for you guys to become patrons. You can prevent things like what happened today with this internet problems that we are having currently. You can prevent this by helping us by becoming a patron today. So go ahead and click on the link on the screen and in the description as well for that too. Okay, without further ado, guys, looking forward to the show. Let's get straight into today's content. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Cricket Fanatics Magazine. This is your daily show. I'm your host, Khalid Maiden, and this is the show where you guys get to ask us questions, and we try and answer it as best as possible. First and foremost, we need to kick off the show by just giving a small little tribute, and just maybe a little bit of silence for the passing of Australian legend Shane Warne. A lot of us would have grown up to him, watching him play and tear teams apart. And second best spinner or second best bowler in Test cricket of all time, and one of the best, or even a lot of people would say the best spinner of all time. An amazing cricketer, very competitive, wasn't very shy of keeping quiet, always would have a go at people and not being scared to do so, and backing his teammates. But we also saw his funny side when he became a commentator. And it was a side that a lot of us, or some of us maybe would have, some people, I remember back in the day when he started as a commentator, some people were like, didn't maybe see it, and it just grew on him. He was just a phenomenal thinker of the game, the way he thinks about the game, and it was an easy transition for him at the end of the day. He was only 52 years old, and the news broke in South Africa, obviously this afternoon, but it was this morning tomorrow morning in Sydney, ultimately Saturday morning. Yeah, it was a release from his management team, who said Shane was found unresponsive in his villa, and despite the efforts of medical staff, he could not be revived. The family requests privacy at the time and will provide further details in due course. Now, Warne took over 708 test wickets in 145 matches. At 25.41, with 37 5-wicket hauls and 10 wicket maidens, and 10 wicket mauls, and best innings was 8 for 71 versus England at Brisbane in 1994-95, and best match figures of 12 for 128 versus South Africa at Sydney in 1993-94. In ODIs, 194 ODIs, he has 293 wickets at 25.73 best bowling figures of 5 for 33 versus West Indies at Sydney in 1996-97. Now, not only that, Shane Warne took 708 test wickets, as I already said. But South Africa was one of the best opponents that he hassled in his time as a spin bowler. He took 130 wickets against South Africa, and that's the second highest against any other team. 195 wickets against England being his biggest victim. And if you go to cricketfanaticsmag.com, there is a little piece on the site. It's titled "Shane Warne dies at age 52." There's a little write up and a tribute video, and there's also some tribute tweets from some of the top superstars and legends of the game, from Sachin Tendulkar, John T. Roach, the Bray Shamsi, Graham Smith, Kevin Peterson, to the likes of Virat Kohli, David Warner, Jacques Kallis, even Jashpreet Bumrah, so many other names as well that we put in here. We tried to put as many as we could find, and you guys can go ahead and click on it to take you to other tweets and tributes on Twitter and social media, etc. But we just want to have a quick moment of just a couple of seconds, 30 seconds or so of silence, just for Shane Warne. What a wonderful legend of the game. So I just think that it would be fair for us to do so. Okay, guys, let's get into it. Welcome to the show, everybody. Thank you for joining in. This is our Q&A session where you guys get to ask us questions, but we want to kickstart this particular show just talking a little bit about the Proteas women. We're really excited to watch them play, Aditya. I'm sure you are too. I think everybody is. And I feel that the Proteas women are as best prepared as possible for this particular World Cup. I think as prepared as they've ever been. They've felt the heartache before. They are hungry to win this one. But for me, as the title suggests, how far should the Proteas get in this tournament? I will expect them at least to get to a semi-final or final. Now, because they've gotten to so many semi-finals before and lost in those semi-finals, I feel that the next step for them is a final. I think getting into a final is an achievement on its own, and whoever wins the tournament at the end of the day, that will obviously then be up to whatever situation he's currently. Sometimes it's luck, sometimes it's just excellent performance, sometimes the team doesn't turn up on the day, and sometimes it's a battle until the last delivery. So this time around, I just want South Africa to at least get to a final. There's going to be a lot of pressure on the likes of Sune Lewis as the captain. But I think that she'll feel comfortable. She seemed very comfortable when I interviewed her for the magazine. Also, please go and look at that digital issue of the Cricket Fanatics Magazine, because the Women's World Cup edition, it's all about the Proteas women and how they prepared for this particular World Cup. So I'm very excited about this. And this team and this set of young group of players, this almost seems like this team might actually win an actual ICC senior World Cup event. It might be the woman that wins it first.
Yeah, definitely. And I think one of the key facets of this team, I think, is the manner in which they approach the game. Even from a coach's point of view, obviously, Hilton wants to ensure that the team is as well prepared as they can be, but at the same time, they have to be equipped to make their own decisions on the field. And I think giving the team the freedom to be able to do that is wonderful. I had the privilege of interviewing Minho Dupre, and the manner in which that she thinks about the game, the reflections that they have, and just the sense of camaraderie and team spirit in that team is remarkable. And that when the Proteas win a game, it's going to be a collective team effort. Every individual knows what she has to do, and they'll work towards getting it done.
Yeah, and the one thing about the South African team, it is full of superstars. Laura Wolfart, there's Danev Anikek's not available now, so obviously other senior players have to step up. So Shabnam Ismail's available, Sune Lucy's available. We've got Marazan Kapp, that's an excellent player. It's one of my favorite players, in fact. Laura Wolfart, of course, we know. Lazelle Lee, one of the top batters in the world. She was number one for a while. She flirts with the top three all the time. Um, in every position in that top three. We've got some good youngsters as well in the team. It's a nice blend of players. Chloe Tryon is looking fit and ready and is focused. So it's a nice blend of players, and I think it's a very balanced team. I think South Africa actually have a squad that can prepare for anything that's thrown at them. I think even if the conditions are a little bit slower on the slower side at any point, not saying that it is going to be like that. There might be maybe one or two grounds that will be so. Not every single ground is going to be as green topped as what the Proteas have faced in the first test. But like ultimately, I think that they have a squad that is very versatile and has every base covered. They've got everything in this lineup, and I think that's the most important thing is that they can pick for situations. Now, making the right decisions is still going to be there. It's still going to be on the table. You're still going to have to make the right decisions at the end of the day. Um, but we'll wait and see. I think Hilton Maring understands these ladies in and out. He understands their mentality, what is his strengths, what the weaknesses. He's been with the team for so long. He understands the heartbreak. I think the main thing for me is that they understand the heartbreak. And I don't think they would ever want to feel that pain again. So I think that will motivate them and let them push on. It helps that they've also had some good series in the last couple of leading up to the World Cup as well over the last 2, 3, 4 years. I think they've beaten almost every single team that they've played against. So they've struggled in a few, but they've also won some important games as well. So yeah, I think the Proteas women are ready. Um, I've mentioned some of the players that I think stand out. Bangladesh is always tricky because with this Bangladesh women's team, you don't know what's going to arrive. Sometimes they can be world class and turned on, and then sometimes they can look very amateur. It's pretty similar to the men's team, I guess, where you don't know what Bangladesh team is going to face you. They can get completely smacked, or they can beat you in a test in your conditions in unfamiliar territory for them. So you never know what's going to happen. It's going to be a tough opening game, but a tough tournament in general. I think South Africa is going to face a lot of the subcontinental teams. But I do think what's nice about it is that South Africa have, like I said, a balanced squad. And they have the assets to be able to conquer, I think, anything that anybody throws at them. Aditya, your thoughts on maybe some of the how South Africa can get to that final? If who's the players and the teams that you think in this World Cup in general? Maybe let's look at it in general that are really going that you think are going to stand up in this World Cup. I mean, we've already had the first game done and dusted.
I think it's got to be the senior players who step up, right? People
Yeah.
who've been through that period of heartbreak where they've come so close yet they're so far, and it's going to be players like Dupree's, the captains, Sunil loses to stand up, and basically even as much as we talk about the team's temperament in a knockout stage, in a knockout game, ultimately, every single individual has to be composed and calm and collected.
Yeah.
Whether it's with the bat or with the ball in the field, that's and at some point they've got to enjoy pressure.
Yeah.
You know, um, in South Africa, I think the role model for that sort of approach was obviously Herschel Gibbs. Whenever you look at his record in ICC tournaments, when you look at his record in the big games, he always performed. He loved the big stage. And I think at some stage, I'd like to see South Africa enjoy the big stage, just have fun.
Yeah. And I'm talking about that deadly bowling attack that they have, but I think that she's not a dark horse anymore because she's proven it, but she was a dark horse at the last World Cup, and that's Ayabonga Kaka. I think that she's so talented, and she has the ability to just stifle you and just throttle you basically and just stop you from scoring runs. So I think she's excellent at that, and she can take wickets too. It's not like she can't take wickets, but I think what makes her so deadly is the fact that she's so accurate and consistent. So another person to look out for, Masabata Class, of course. You've got Lefty as well. Um, so Laba. So like yeah, there's a lot of players that we can speak about. I mean, Lara Goodall still looking for that innings that really cements herself in that team. So yeah, we've got a lot of talented Tasman Brits looking to prove herself again. Big hitter of the cricket ball as well. And you've obviously mentioned Mignon Dupree, etc. So yeah, let's move on, guys. Let's get into the Q&A session, and that's what this is all about. There's a lot of wishes for Shane Warne. I'm going to read some of them out. We've got Trevor saying, R.I.P. Warney. Can't believe he's no more. Really loved his banter with Daryl Cullinan. Um, May the universe give him success. One of the great bowlers. We've got R.I.P. Shane Warne. He bowled the bowl of the century and the RR when RR and one RR their first IPL title. We've got some crying emojis. Um,
For anyone who grew up in the '90s, I think, and followed cricket, Shane Warne was obviously one of those dominant names. Like
of
when
course.
I didn't really understand the significance of the game, but when I started learning about cricket, all I could understand was Sachin versus Warne. That's all it was.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
Sachin's on my team, and Warne's on the Australian team. He's a dangerous guy, and he's got to smack him. And
yeah.
in 1998, I think it was I saw one of the greatest duels of all time. Sachin versus Warne in Chennai, and I had the privilege of watching him live a couple of times in Mumbai. When he played his international career as well as the IPL in 2011. And man, the guy's a showman, unbelievable.
Mm. Very friendly and chatty guy as well when he was around the press
Yes.
box, etc. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it was good to always to catch a glimpse of him and say hi, and he cracks a joke or two. So it was, yeah, it's a very sad day for cricket and for people that love him around the world. Let's move on. We've got Ikram. He says, if the women's team wins the World Cup, should CSA start a women's MSL and a fully professional first-class cricket system? So, Ikram, we have something called the WSL, the Women's Super League, in a way. So they do have that currently. It's just not, doesn't. It's not just as big as a draw card as obviously the MSL, and it's not necessarily overseas players that come and play. It's just the women, but it's franchises in a way. So it is players that are mixed up across the board. So it's not necessarily provinces, but it's team names. So there is something like that. But yeah, something as big as that would be interesting. I would like to. I would like to see something like that in the future. Um, with regards to the first class cricket system, that would also be amazing to see. But also for the woman to get a professional, to become paid as well. There are certain, I think Gauteng might pay their ladies. I'm not 100% sure. I must double check on the facts on that. But I think I heard someone told me that Gauteng ladies do get paid. Other franchises are still struggling um, to raise funds and etc. for the women's game. Um, Faf wasn't okay. This is a comment to someone else. Let me get into a question over here. This was before we started late. Take a deep breath. Harry. Um, how long do you think it will take before Diego Brevis gets a Proteas call up? Now it depends what format. I do think that Diego, unfortunately, I think what's going to happen with him is he's going to come onto the scene in the white ball arena first, before he reaches the first test arena. I know people want to talk about him playing all formats when they haven't even seen him play one long format game in their life before. So it's a tricky one. He needs to play some domestic cricket in 4-day cricket or for the Titans first. And I think that will then we can start talking about him maybe in Test cricket, because Test cricket is a little bit of a different gravy. That's something that you need to show that you have the temperament and the ability and all of that to be able to play under those circumstances, because Test cricket is very difficult. So I prefer it for our youngsters to not get fast tracked into the Test lineup. I don't mind the T20 setup. I think that's where you'll probably see he could get himself a position over there. It all depends on what's going to happen with that middle order. Um, at the moment, it almost looks inseparable. They, with regards to Temba and Rassi and Aiden um, and Quinny. So they look very deadly at the moment. So there's almost not no space for Dealveld currently in that T20 top 5-6. We've got David Miller as well in there. You have to throw in. So it does look a very deadly top six, but I think at least he should be back up, at least, just so that he can. I think at this particular stage, with Temba still there, Dean still there, I think it's nice. It would be nice for Deva to maybe just be a backup, and be amongst the team. He bowls as well, so it does add that extra bit of um, all-rounder ability as well. So yeah, I don't think it will be too long for us to wait. I think this IPL is going to make a massive difference to what happens with him. I think if he does get game time and he plays and he does well, I think they are going to be forced to select him in that, maybe even in the next World Cup squad. Very possible.
You know, this is a great question, Tiger, and Dave Wall is obviously an exciting talent, and we want to see him play for South Africa as quickly as possible. Um, I think the real question for South Africa is how they introduce him into the setup. Because there will always be times when your first choice team is not always available, and that to me is when Dave Wall should be introduced. Because Virat Kohli just mentioned in a podcast a couple of days ago that everyone wants big names to be playing all the time, but that's not possible. Sometimes workload management, sometimes because of injury issues, or for any other reason, first choice team is not available, and that's when you got to introduce players like the World Bravers. See now with Keegan Peterson unfortunately contracting COVID, Sarah Levy got an opportunity, and he's now had the invaluable experience of playing high pressure cricket and scoring 100 in overseas conditions. So that will hold South Africa in good stead. Similarly, when there's um, there's a support in the middle order, Ryan Rickleton should get a go. Later on, Tony DeZorzi should get a go. So I think how South Africa balance these issues is will be key, and hopefully they will be yeah, in that South African shirt soon enough.
Hmm. Yeah, we're gonna have to wait and see what happens over there. Let's move on to Aditya over here. Khalid and Aditya. Whom do you like more as a captain, Temba or Alga? Okay, I'm gonna give this one to you first. I've been answering all the questions first. There was a
That's
pass, and that was me with you.
that's a difficult one to answer, to be honest, Aditya, because the captains of two different formats. It's difficult. I think the one thing that we do know about Temba is that he reads the game really well. He can be spontaneous and he can think ahead of the game, um, which is it's such a valuable trait for a captain to have. Whereas with Dean Elgar, he's a confident captain and he can really do the war of attrition well. And that's key for Test cricket. So in both their respective assignments as captain, they're doing a solid job. Who do I like more is I don't know. It's tricky. I would look. I don't want to give you a diplomatic answer, so I'm just going to go with Demba because I have a penchant for captains who can think ahead of the game. Who are proactive. And that's one of the reasons I liked Faf du Plessis as captain so much. More than I don't want to say more than Graham Smith because Graham Smith was fantastic as well, but there was something about Faf.
Something
It
about
was
Faf.
he had the X
They should
factor.
they should make a movie. It's just something about Faf. I mean, literally, they could make a movie and it will sell out in India. Um, let's let's. There was a question about Faf here. Let me just try to find it again. I think it was something about would you pick Faf if he has a good. Here we go. Would you flip? Would you pick Faf if he had a tremendous IPL season? I would have picked Faf even before he had an good IPL season. That was the last season, like for the World Cup. I wanted Faf in the team before he even played the IPL. I didn't even want him to play the IPL. I wanted him to stay, keep himself fresh for South Africa. And they just went completely the opposite direction. They never even looked at Faf. They chatted to him and stuff, but they couldn't work out an agreement, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, right now, at this point, I think it will be a little bit disruptive to bringing Fafi into the team. Seeing the we had seeing that we had some momentum coming from the first T20 World Cup. There is some sort of synergy there. The team is starting to gel and find a synergy amongst each other. So bringing Faf into that lineup will be a bit disruptive. Um, so, but yeah, it's Faf du Plessis. I mean, I would love to see Faf du Plessis play for the Proteas again. It's one of my favorite players. Um, Aticha, I'm not going to even ask you because you basically answered it in the previous question. Um, Khalid, do you think that CSA do the same thing like Australia did when they players with regards to IPL country first? I want them to do something like that. I would love South Africa to pull that card. Otis Gibson tried it, didn't work. It actually did more harm than good, I feel. So I don't know what the legalities and what the requirements are when it comes to pulling players out of the IPL because I don't know. I haven't seen an IPL contract before, so I'm going to leave a teacher to explain this.
Yeah, uh, Trevor, thank you for your question. Uh, it's this. I think it's based purely on economics, right? If CSA can compensate a player to the degree that an IPL contract can, there and thereabouts, I'm sure that players will stick around for their countries or even rest. Like Mitchell Stark, for example, is prime example, right? Because Mitchell Stark has not played the IPL since 2015, I think. That's 7 years. He chooses to spend time with his family and rest so that he can be fresh for the international season. But the reason that he can't do that is because he is compensated to that degree. The amount of money that he will make through an IPL contract is the amount of money that he's making as a player for Australia. So I think it's got to be that, expecting players um, to not participate in the IPL without really compensating them to that same degree is perhaps a bit unrealistic in this day and age.
I wonder what the difference is for a national contract. I'm talking about. I wonder what the difference in monetary value it is.
So you
I
look at
wonder.
Joe Root, right? Joe Root is captain. I think he makes more money than Virat Kohli from a
Yeah, it
contractual
depends
point of view.
which country you're at, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, like he makes more money than Virat Kohli from the board, right? Which is why he's not that desperate to play the IPL. Um, but yeah, I think it's difficult, right? It's a difficult call to make because you have only so many years as a player, and even your participation in these leagues depends on a certain degree of marketability on the international scene. So it's a difficult balance, and I'm sure that it's a challenge for players to able to be in this position that they are in.
Mhm. Okay, let's move on. Lorenzo says, will we see Bjorn Fortuyn getting selected ahead of George Linde for an ICC event? I mean, it's clear that Linde is better currently, and to be honest, for the past 2 seasons, I don't know if you can say George Linde has been better in T20 cricket. Um, they are two different. They offer two different things. Um, Bjorn Fortuyn has balls, and he has the self belief um, and fighting spirit that he will take on, back himself against anybody. I think that's something that the Proteas have seen in him and like about him. George is an incredibly hard worker, and he pushes and he pushes and he keeps on going at you. Um, and I feel that he's more of a wicket taker than someone like Bjorn. Bjorn is a very good at slowing games down and just killing the game. Like, he does it so excellently, and he's been involved with his involvement with the Paul Rocks, for example. He was so important in that victory, and I don't think we must always look at um, wickets only as a metric when it comes to being a good bowler. I don't think Bjorn Fortuyn kept George Linde out. I think that Vian Mulder kept Linde out of the team, in my opinion, because I feel they could have played three spinners in some games. Very, very, it was very possible to do so. I mean, and if George came to the party with a bat, I think it would be a very different story, because I think then he will outweigh everybody else with the ball. When it comes to the ball, you see Keshav Maharaj's involvement as well. Um, also caused some sort of stir as well. Um, yeah, let's move on from that one. Will Riza be there in the SAT 20 squad against India? To be honest, I don't know. I won't be able to tell you that. Um, I won't be able to tell you if he will or won't be. It's highly likely that he will, because he's been in the World Cup squad. You see, I don't think South Africa is going to change too much going into the next World Cup, because there's one or two tweaks maybe that they have to do to get themselves into that mindset of competing, because they were very, very good apart from one game, really. Okay, yes, they didn't chase down the score fast enough against Bangladesh, but we only knew how much they really had to go for after that game. But there are a couple of things in the white ball arena we must maybe tweak or so. But I think it's a very settled side, and I'm very actually interested in that in the T20 squad. I believe in this T20 team. I do think that we have the ability to be able to compete against anybody. So I just hope that they play to their full potential at least. Dex, can you please ask your question again? I tried to go look for it and I can't find it. Aditya, you can answer this one. Aditya Hardid, yesterday we spoke about SS picking order in the squad in the tests. How long do you think Jonathan Bird will be? Do you want to answer this one, or must I? I don't know how much you know about John O'Bird.
Yeah, you should probably go for it.
Okay, I'm gonna give you the next one then. From Werner. Okay, so John O'Bird, I think it will be still some time before we see him in the Proteas setup in the test arena. Because we spoke specifically about obviously the test arena yesterday, like you mentioned in your comment. I think Jono has to have a couple of seasons where he puts some big scores on the board and big runs in the board. He's competing against openers like Eddie Moore and Cyril Irvia and Dominic Hendricks and Joshua Richards, who are putting massive runs on the board. So if Jono Bird wants to, he needs to be consistent, and he needs to put big numbers on the board consistently this season, next season, end off the season well, and then start the next season very well. I think that we'll only start having these conversations once Cyril Irvia and Dean Alger start thinking about if Cyril Irvia can continue his trajectory. which is seeming to go up at the moment, maybe, hopefully, um, then we could see an opening partnership of Saudi Arabia and Dean Elgar for quite some time, and then we can start talking about John O'Bird and the others that are going to open the batting for South Africa. So I think it's going to be some time before we see John O'Bird in the Proteas setup in four-day cricket. To be fair, just my opinion, basically. Um, I think there's quite a few people in the pecking order ahead of him currently as openers in South Africa that have grafted away for years in the domestic system. Okay, this is Werner's one. Aditya, what do you make of CSA leaving it up to the Protea players to decide whether they will go to the IPL or play the Bangladesh series? Won't it cause more problems if some stay and some decide to go?
Yeah, I don't think CSA has much of a choice here because there's some sort of an agreement that that has probably been documented and is there in some part of the CSA office where um, Cricket South Africa agreed that they will send players to India for the IPL, and the CSA also gets money out of it, right? Like they get a certain percentage of every IPL contract, so it's not like a totally unfortunate situation for them if players go to the IPL. But yeah, I'm generally not a fan of the idea of leaving it up to the players. It's either everyone stays or everyone goes. But in this case, I don't think CSA has much of a choice officially. Like I don't think they can take an official stance saying that we're not going to send players to the IPL.
Okay, let's look at it. Text saying, will Tristan Stubbs get picked in white ball squads? I think that I actually personally think that he's actually ahead of Dewald in the picking order currently, because I think that there's a bigger need for Tristan Stubbs in the number 5, 6 position than there is for Dewald Brevis in the number 4 position currently, or number 3 position for South Africa. Right now, at this very instance, I think we're in more need of that finisher type of role. We can maybe push, then we can maybe have the opportunity to push David Miller up the order, further up like we want to. Some people actually want him to bat for David Miller. Because Aiden Markram hasn't necessarily been the player that we know he can be. So bringing someone like Tristan Stubbs into the team gives you the option of pushing everybody up and bringing him in at 6. So that is a possibility, and I think it would be a smart move from South Africa if they do look at it, because we were always looking for this number 6 type of player that can come in and smack the ball. But we heard from Tristan Stubbs' interview with us how smart he is of a cricketer, how he thinks about the game. I don't think that this guy is a guy that's only has finishing on his mind, that he can just come in and smack the ball. He has the cricket smarts about him to also take things a little bit slow at first as well. Let me give you this one. Aditya, what's your thoughts on Brevis for the ODI team?
He should be, but who does he replace? Is the question, right? So only if there's an injury who someone's being rested can Brevis fit in. But I think Brevis is probably a like for like replacement for Markham, given that both of them are batters and spinners. So he can be introduced there, but yeah, I mean, but I wouldn't say it's a bad idea to have him around the squad at least. He should be around.
Mm-hmm. Steiger Tiger. I think that's how I pronounce it. Who do you think is in South Africa's current squad is the highest earner? I think it's KG. If
But are you referring
KG or Quinny?
But I mean, are you referring to like
I think that
CSA or totally?
I think they're thinking CSA here.
I mean, if you're thinking CSA, then I imagine it's the captain. Or any players that are playing all 3 formats, they'd be the ones who earn the most.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So,
that's
Timber.
I don't know if them, perhaps right now, yes. But I think But I think KG might tip him though.
I don't know. I feel like you're captain and um,
Because, for
yeah,
example, Dean only plays Test cricket,
yeah,
so it must be. Then otherwise, you're gonna have to say then he's Temba. Then he must have
yeah.
gotten a bump. So yeah, I don't know how to answer that question. We don't really get to see the players how much they earn. Okay, that's answered already. Answered already. Answered already. Okay, okay, we answered that already. Why is Rasif van der Dussen struggling so much? Ooh, RVTD. Is it? I'm assuming that's who's RVTD?
Is it Reynard Van Tonda?
Is it Reiner van Toonder?
Is he struggling?
RVTD.
Is the question.
Yeah, maybe it's Reiner van Toonder. Um, if I'm gonna analyze it, like I've been following Reinhard van Toonder's career for quite some time now. I'm a big fan. He knows it, and I think what happened to Reinhard is okay. It's partly injuries and things like that, yes, but also I feel that after that amazing 2 seasons that he had for the Knights, he moved from opening batter to number 3, and then he scored all of those centuries at Bloemfontein and did so well in the 1 season. And I think that maybe after there was a lot of media attention and talk about him with regards to playing at different venues, learning how to play at other grounds and scoring at other grounds, I think he was very much aware of that scrutiny. And then I think that has obviously maybe given him too much to think about. I think he's too much currently maybe in his head, um, overthinking things maybe. Now I wouldn't know this until I have a chat with him again. I haven't caught up with him in a while. Gives me a good opportunity now. Thank you for asking us questions that maybe I can have a chat with him. But it happens in domestic cricket. I've seen it quite a bit happen like this, the up and down seasons. Keegan Peterson actually used to have career seasons like that. We had an amazing 900 run season or 800 run season, and the following season we'll have like 300 or 400. And then the following season you'll get like 800 or 700 runs in that season, and then you'll drop again to maybe 300, 400 or 500. So it does go up and down like that. Cricket is just that type of sport. It's going to happen. I also think that the players have also increased. The level of bowlers also kind of have increased this year compared to last seasons and seasons before. With the Colpacks coming back, etc., I think that made a massive difference to the level of bowlers. It also strengthened the level of bowling as well with the new contract system, with the new franchise system, and more bowlers coming through that maybe people don't know about. But I think they also worked him out a little bit. You know, I think they watched him, saw what doesn't work on him, and they figured him out a little bit. But it's also injury, I think, also gave him some issues. Okay, you're gonna have to read this one out, Aditya.
Thanks, Tex. Are you a fan of Mohammad Shami because your bowling action is a lot like him? Thank you. That's I'm humbled that you think I
All
bowl like Mohammad Shami.
all I saw, and I don't know if this is a universal term, but all I saw was your fader. Do you know what that is? Do you know what that is? You don't have to know.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about, but maybe we're using two different terms.
Yeah. So what are you thinking?
It's like me going at the back and then
Not a cricket
turning
term.
to what?
A fader is a haircut.
Uh,
So I'm gonna teach you some slang a little bit. So we have a fader, which is basically it's shaven, but it fades in. So from like 0 to like 3 or 4 or
yeah.
5. So that fade that it fades in. So that's why they call it a fader.
Okay.
So that's a cool slang term that you can take home to India. You can start calling every time you see the people that have a haircut like that. All I saw was your face as you turn around and you did your little trot. Guys, you need to send in your videos, please, so we can post them on our channel. So go and play some cricket because I would like to see your videos, etc. If I can get find some time free with maybe Emily or one of the people that I know that I play with normally, and they can take some videos and we'll post as well. But send us some stuff, man. Please, let's spice up that Cricket Fanatics Instagram page, um, and have some fun with it, guys. Lorenzo Bailey, I want to see you smack a couple of sixes there in the nets or something. I mean, you have a brother that can help you out there. You switch it around there, and let's see what you guys have to offer. Um, Mikey Copeland did it for us I think it was last year sometime while he sent a couple of videos in of himself batting in the nets against Zach Momberg. We need to still chat to as well. Flip. We haven't chatted to him to check up how he's doing. Okay, let's move on. Let's get to the final questions. Yes,
Sorry,
Adish?
Munir is asking where can we see Aditya bowl? Check out the Instagram page, Cricket Fanatics Magazine Instagram page. You'll find it.
Munir, that's a good idea. Munir, look here, you have connections, bro. Let's go play in the nets a bit. Message me on WhatsApp. Let's chat about it. We can go play in the nets a bit to go find a nets to practice in or something. I don't know if you still have connections at Ronderbosch. Maybe we can go play there. Isn't your brother there? Okay, no, I'm just giving too much information about you and your family and stuff on the live chat. But anyway, so Munir, hit me up. We go play the nets. That would be a good idea. We could take some videos, etc. Munir actually has an awesome YouTube channel. I don't know if he's still using it. I'm not going to say it right now on here, but he had a funny YouTube channel where he did these little skits. I think he should move those videos over to Cricket Fanatics Magazine. Come do it for us. I think it would be a good idea. Put him under a lot of pressure. But yeah, guys, I'm so sorry for the delayed start. I was having hectic issues, but find a way to make that not happen again. I'm so sorry that it took so long for us to get alive here with you guys. But thank you for staying loyal to us and staying here to give us a show. It's Friday, guys. It's time for you guys to go out and have a nice time and enjoy yourself, see your family, relax, get your mind relaxed and have a great weekend. I want you all to have a great weekend. I had a good start to the weekend. I watched Batman, which I'm not going to say anything.
Me too.
Did you watch it? Yes.
Okay, yeah, I just came back from it.
Oh, awesome. So we can chat about it. Great. I want to talk to you after this. But yeah, guys, thanks a lot for watching. Everybody's going to probably be up anyway to watch the Proteas Women. So let's all combine together and support the ladies. Stand up and support them as best as possible. We believe in them 100%, like we said in our magazine. And not to forget, guys, go download that latest issue. It's right over here. This is the cover. The link is on the screen as well as in the description right now. Go ahead and download it. It gives you an understanding of what it was like for the Proteas women to prepare for this World Cup. So go ahead and check that out, please, guys. And also subscribe to this channel. Don't forget to smash the like button, comment, share, subscribe, click the notification bell for all future videos. That way, you will help us so much by growing, getting into other people's feeds, getting into recommended feeds, and us trending on YouTube for cricket. Let's try and get us there, guys, more consistently. Smash the like button. That is very, very important, guys. We need a like. It's not going to cost you anything. Just drop a like on the video if you're already watching here. But guys, thanks a lot for watching. We'll see you guys again on Sunday for another podcast show. And we'll obviously talk about the Proteas ladies, have a relaxed chat and catch up about what has happened this weekend in cricket. But guys, thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you guys again very, very soon. Enjoy your weekend and take care. Peace.